There's a pain in this world that few truly understand. It's the silent ache of those abandoned by the people they loved most. It's the echo of unanswered voices, the emptiness of chairs that remain unfilled, the weight of a loneliness that feels eternal. If you're watching this video, you may know this pain intimately. Perhaps you've discovered that the people you trusted simply vanished. Maybe you've realized that the love you offered wasn't reciprocated, that the loyalty you showed wasn't valued, that the presence you provided wasn't enough to keep them by your side. And now you find yourself alone, questioning your worth, your capacity to be loved, your reason for being. But I want you to know one thing. You are not truly alone. Even in the darkest hours, even when all seems lost, there's an ancient wisdom that can guide you back to the light. There's a strength within you that's greater than any abandonment, more powerful than any rejection, more enduring than any pain you may be feeling right now. Welcome to this journey of self-discovery and healing. My name is Your Name, and today we'll explore together the profound teachings of one of the wisest characters in fantasy literature, Gandalf the Grey. But we won't just revisit his words. We'll uncover how the Stoic wisdom he embodies can transform your pain into purpose, your loneliness into strength, your abandonment into freedom. Over the next few minutes, you'll receive 25 profound pieces of advice that will not only help you overcome abandonment, but also guide you to a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. These aren't just theoretical teachings, they're practical tools you can apply immediately to your life. You'll discover how to transform your pain into wisdom, how to find peace in solitude, how to rebuild your self-esteem, and how to create a fulfilling and meaningful life regardless of who chooses to stay or leave. Prepare for a profound transformation, because when we finish this journey, you won't be the same person who started watching this video. Eighth counsel: small acts of kindness and love are what keep the darkness at bay. In the loneliness of abandonment, you may feel insignificant, like your actions don't matter to anyone. But Gandalf teaches us that it's the small acts of kindness and love that truly make a difference. You don't need to make grand gestures to combat the darkness in your life. Sometimes it's enough to be kind to yourself, offer a smile to a stranger, or show compassion to someone who's struggling. These small acts not only benefit others, but also light a fire within you. They remind you that you still have love to give, that you can still make a difference in the world, that your presence still has value. Don't underestimate the power of small gestures of kindness. Ninth counsel: death is just another journey we all must take. Abandonment can make you feel like a part of you has died. The person you were in lost relationships, the dreams you had about the future, the version of yourself that existed when you felt loved, all of it may seem dead. But Gandalf teaches us that death is just another journey. Sometimes we need to let certain versions of ourselves die so that we can be reborn as something stronger, wiser, more authentic. Abandonment may be the end of an era in your life, but it can also be the beginning of a new one. Allow yourself to grieve what's been lost, but also allow yourself to be curious about who you can become. The death of old relationships can give birth to a new version of you that is more resilient and more true to yourself. 10th counsel: you can't go through life without making enemies, but you can choose how you react to them. Sometimes abandonment comes with betrayal, with people becoming enemies where once they were friends. This can be especially painful because it violates our basic trust in human goodness. But Gandalf teaches us that you can't go through life without making enemies. It's part of the human experience. What matters is how we choose to react. You can choose to carry bitterness and resentment, or you can choose to learn from the experience and move on. This doesn't mean you should forgive immediately or forget what happened, but it means you don't need to let the betrayal of others define who you are. Your reaction to abandonment and betrayal can be an opportunity to demonstrate your strength of character. 11th counsel: even in the darkest moments, there is always hope. Abandonment can create a darkness that seems impenetrable. It may seem like there's no way out, that the pain will never pass, that you'll never be happy again. But Gandalf reminds us that even in the darkest moments, there is always hope. Hope isn't a denial of reality. It's a choice to believe that reality can change. It's the faith that the pain you feel now isn't permanent, that you have the capacity to heal, to grow, to find joy again. Hope is an act of rebellion against despair. Cultivate it daily, even when, especially when it seems impossible. 12th counsel. Wisdom isn't about having all the answers, but asking the right questions. Abandonment leaves us with many questions, but we often ask the wrong ones. Instead of asking, "Why am I not enough?" ask, "What can I learn about myself?" Instead of, "Why does everyone abandon me?" ask, "How can I become more selective in my relationships?" Instead of, "How can I get someone back?" ask, "How can I become more whole on my own?" The right questions lead to growth. The wrong questions lead to unnecessary suffering. Gandalf teaches us that wisdom isn't about having all the answers, but about asking the questions that lead us toward growth and understanding. 13th counsel. The true test of character is how you act when no one is watching. When you've been abandoned, it might feel like no one cares about your actions, that there's no one to impress or disappoint. But this is precisely the moment when your true character is tested. How do you treat yourself when you're alone? How do you act when there's no one to applaud or criticize? Do you uphold your values and standards even when it seems like it doesn't matter to anyone? Abandonment can be an opportunity to discover who you truly are when all the masks are removed. Use this time to develop an integrity that comes from within, not from external expectations. Be the kind of person you'd want to know, especially when you're the only one who knows. 14th counsel. Patience is a virtue few possess, but everyone needs. Healing from abandonment doesn't happen quickly. There's no specific date when you'll wake up and be completely healed. It's a process that requires immense patience with yourself. Gandalf teaches us that patience is a virtue few possess, but everyone needs. Be patient with your healing process. Allow yourself to have bad days. Allow yourself setbacks. Allow yourself to feel the pain without rushing to overcome it. Healing isn't linear. It's a complex process involving forward movement and setbacks. Don't criticize yourself for not getting over the abandonment as quickly as you'd like. Respect the time your heart and mind need to process and heal. Patience with your own process is an act of self-love. 15th counsel. The most important things in life aren't things, they're relationships and experiences. Abandonment might make you question the value of relationships. It might make you think it's safer to focus on material possessions, tangible achievements, anything that seems more reliable than people. But Gandalf reminds us that the most important things in life aren't things, they're relationships and experiences. This doesn't mean you should become vulnerable to just anyone, but it does mean you shouldn't give up entirely on human connection. The most important relationship you can cultivate is the relationship with yourself. Invest in experiences that enrich you, in relationships that uplift you, in moments that create meaningful memories. Things can be lost or stolen, but experiences and true relationships, especially the relationship with yourself, are treasures no one can take from you. 16th counsel. True strength isn't about never falling, but about always getting back up. Abandonment might make you feel like you failed, like you're weak for being affected so deeply. But Gandalf teaches us that true strength isn't about never falling, but about getting back up whenever you fall. You're not weak for being hurt by abandonment. You're human. Strength lies in your ability to process the pain, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Every day you choose to continue, every moment you decide not to give up on yourself, every small step toward healing, that's real strength. Don't measure your strength by the absence of pain, but by your ability to function despite the pain, to grow through the pain, to transform the pain into wisdom. 17th counsel. What we do echoes in eternity. When you've been abandoned, it might feel like your actions don't matter, like you're insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But Gandalf teaches us that what we do echoes in eternity. How you respond to abandonment, how you treat yourself and others during this difficult time, how you choose to grow or wither, all of this has consequences that extend far beyond the present moment. Your response to abandonment might inspire others going through the same situation. Your ability to find strength in adversity can be an example to people you don't even know. Your choice to continue loving despite being hurt might restore someone's faith in human kindness. Never underestimate the impact of your actions, even when you feel invisible. 18th Counsel. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is to let them go. One of the hardest lessons of abandonment is learning that sometimes the best gift you can give someone is to let them go. This doesn't mean you don't love them or miss them. It means you love them so much that you want them to be happy, even if that means living without you. Holding on to someone who wants to leave only creates suffering for both of you. Letting go is an act of love for both them and you. It frees you from the pain of trying to hold on to something that can't be held, and it frees them from the guilt of wanting something different. Learning to let go isn't giving up. It's accepting that some people and some situations have a temporary role in our lives, and that's okay. 19th Counsel. Loneliness isn't a punishment, it's an opportunity to discover who you are when no one else is around. Our culture often portrays loneliness as something negative, a sign of failure or inadequacy. But Gandalf teaches us that loneliness isn't a punishment, it's an opportunity. It's a chance to discover who you are when you're not trying to please anyone, when you're not performing for an audience, when you're not being swayed by others' expectations. Loneliness can be the space where you finally truly know yourself. Use this time to explore your interests, your values, your dreams. Discover what makes you feel alive, what inspires you, what motivates you. Loneliness can be the laboratory where you experiment with different versions of yourself until you find the one that's most authentic. 20th Counsel. Not all treasure is gold and silver. Abandonment might make you feel like you've lost life's most precious treasures: love, companionship, a sense of belonging. But Gandalf reminds us that not all treasure is gold and silver. There are treasures you can only discover in solitude: self-reliance, inner strength, the ability to find joy in small things, the wisdom that comes from adversity. There are treasures you may have lost sight of while focused on keeping others happy: your own voice, your own dreams, your own identity. Abandonment can be an opportunity to rediscover these forgotten treasures and realize you're richer than you imagine. Not every loss is a loss. Sometimes it's a rediscovery. 21st Counsel. Friendship isn't about being together all the time, it's about being there when it matters. Abandonment might make you question the nature of friendship and love. It might make you think that if people truly cared, they would never leave. But Gandalf teaches us that friendship isn't about being together all the time, it's about being there when it matters. Some people may physically exit your life, but they still carry you in their hearts. Others may be physically present, but emotionally absent. Abandonment can help you distinguish between superficial connections and deep bonds. It can help you appreciate more the people who choose to stay, and to be more selective about who you give your time and energy to. The quality of connections matters more than the quantity. 22nd Counsel. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about releasing the weight of resentment. Abandonment often comes with anger, hurt, and resentment. These are natural and valid, but carrying those emotions indefinitely is like carrying stones in a backpack. It only makes your journey harder. Gandalf teaches us that forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened or excusing others' behavior. It's about releasing the weight of resentment. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, not to others. It doesn't mean you have to trust the people who abandoned you again or that you have to wish for them to return. It means you choose not to let their actions control your emotions forever. Forgiveness is a process, not a single event, and you can work on it at your own pace. 23rd Counsel. Hope is kindled by the smallest flames, but it can illuminate the greatest darkness. During abandonment, you may feel like your hope has been completely extinguished. It may seem like there's no reason for optimism, that there's no bright future waiting for you. But Gandalf teaches us that hope is kindled by the smallest flames, but it can illuminate the greatest darkness. Sometimes the smallest spark of hope, a better day, a new opportunity, a moment of unexpected joy, can be enough to begin illuminating the path ahead. Don't dismiss small moments of hope as insignificant. Nurture them, protect them, let them grow. Hope isn't naivete, it's the force that moves us through darkness toward the light. Even when you can't see the whole path, you can take the next step in the direction of hope. 24th Counsel. Wisdom doesn't come from having all the answers, but from making peace with the unanswered questions. Abandonment leaves many unanswered questions. You may never know exactly why people left, if you could have done anything differently, or if they ever truly cared. But Gandalf teaches us that wisdom doesn't come from having all the answers, but from making peace with the unanswered questions. Part of maturity is learning to live with uncertainty, to accept that not everything in life can be understood or explained. You can find peace even without having all the answers. You can move forward even without knowing exactly what happened. The acceptance of uncertainty is liberating. It frees you from the need to control everything and understand everything. Some questions are important to ask, others are more important to let go of. 25th Lesson. The end of one journey is just the beginning of another. Letting go can feel like an ending, the end of relationships, the end of dreams, the end of a life as you knew it. But as Gandalf teaches us, the end of one journey is simply the beginning of another. Every ending is also a beginning. Every goodbye is also an opportunity to say hello to something new. Every loss is also an opportunity to discover something you didn't even know you were looking for. The heartbreak you've experienced isn't the end of your story, it's the end of a chapter and the beginning of another. You have the power to write the next chapter of your life. It may be different from what you planned, but that doesn't mean it will be any less meaningful or beautiful. Sometimes the best adventures are the ones we never planned, the ones we discover when we're forced to explore uncharted territory. And so we come to the end of this journey, 25 lessons that may seem simple on the surface, but carry ocean depths of meaning. If you've made it this far, that in itself is a testament to your strength, your resilience, your ability to reach for something bigger than the pain you're feeling. You've shown that even in the midst of heartbreak, even when you feel alone and lost, there's still a part of you that seeks wisdom, that desires growth, that's willing to transform suffering into strength. That's extraordinary, that's courageous, that's profoundly human. I want you to understand something fundamental. The heartbreak you've experienced is not a reflection of your worth as a person. It's not a measure of your merit, your capacity to be loved, or your importance in the world. People leave our lives for 1,000 reasons, their own wounds, their own fears, their own journeys they need to walk alone. Sometimes people leave because they can't handle the intensity of what you offer. Sometimes they leave because they're in different life stages. Sometimes they leave because they simply don't know how to stay. None of these reasons diminishes who you are. You are a complete, valuable, and lovable person, with or without the presence of others. Your completeness doesn't depend on anyone's approval. Your happiness isn't in other people's hands. Your peace can't be stolen by those who choose to leave. These are truths you can only discover in solitude, in the quiet of your own heart, in the silence that follows the noise of departures. Use this time not as exile, but as a pilgrimage. Use it as an opportunity to reconnect with yourself, to rediscover who you are when all the external voices fall silent. Remember that loneliness and heartbreak are universal experiences. You are not alone in your pain. Throughout history, the wisest, most compassionate, and most resilient people have been those who faced heartbreak and found ways to transform it into wisdom. Your pain can be the fuel for deeper compassion. Your loneliness can be the space where you develop unshakable inner strength. Your heartbreak can be the catalyst for a journey of self-discovery that will take you to places you never imagined possible. Today, we explored how Gandalf's wisdom, rooted in Stoic principles, can guide us through the turbulent waters of heartbreak. We learned that strength isn't the absence of pain, but the ability to keep going despite the pain. We discovered that hope can be found even in the darkest moments, that wisdom doesn't require having all the answers, and that sometimes the best gift we can give someone is to let them go. We understood that the end of one journey is always the beginning of another, and that our ability to transform suffering into wisdom is one of the noblest qualities of the human spirit. But more important than any specific lesson is the understanding that you have within you everything you need not only to survive heartbreak, but to thrive after it. You have the capacity to choose your responses, to create meaning from pain, and find purpose in solitude. You have the power to rebuild your life in a way that's more authentic, more aligned with your values, more connected with your true self. Heartbreak may have taken people out of your life, but it cannot take away your capacity to love, your capacity to grow, your capacity to create a meaningful life. As you move forward, carry with you not only these lessons, but also the certainty that you are more resilient than you imagine, wiser than you believe, and more valuable than any heartbreak can suggest. You have the capacity to transform this difficult experience into something that makes you stronger, more compassionate, more authentic. You have the capacity to use this pain as a springboard to a fuller, more meaningful life. If this video touched your heart, if these words brought any comfort or inspiration, please share this message with someone who might be going through a similar situation. Sometimes, knowing that we're not alone in our pain is the first step on the journey of healing. Leave a comment below sharing your own,